Hi everyone, my name is Vamsi and I'm a full stack modern web developer. The topic of discussion is web development, and today we are going to have a brief overview on the working of the web. So, we have all come across the term internet. Also, we have heard about the World Wide Web. Uh, so, World Wide Web is the www that we write before every site name in the URL bar. So, are they both the same? Well, not actually. Most of us use the words the web and the internet to mean the same thing, but they're actually quite different. The World Wide Web, or WWW, is a collection of the web pages we see when we are at a device or when we are online. So it's like a collection of web pages. But the internet is the network of connected devices that the web works upon. So it's like the physical connection of the all the devices all across the world. So to help understand the difference, we can think of the internet as the roads that connect the towns and the cities together. The World Wide Web contains the things that you see on the roads, like the houses, the shops, the malls, and everything. It's like the collection of all the things which are available on the roads. Then, what are the vehicles we can relate to? So, the data which flows from the websites or like on the internet can be related to the vehicles of the people moving around. So, yes, internet is just the interconnection of networks to connect the devices all across the world, and the web is like operating upon the internet. Data flows from one place to another on the web through the internet. Then, suppose, like, let us assume that the people who work on the things related to the internet are called as developers. Like, there's a lot of different distinctions and roles within, but let us like generally call them as developers. What are they developing? Then quite like obvious question which comes to our mind, like what are they going to develop? So like let us look at some pictures and think of whether the impact is in any form in the current day. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Netflix, Amazon, Swiggy, Snapchat, Google Chrome, Ola. So, like, I think we cannot imagine our life without these things today. These have made our lives easier. Who created them? Who is still managing them? Like, who are the ones who are like still handling? Is it like running on their own? No, not right. So you guessed it right. These are created by developers. So these were initially developed as web applications. So web applications or websites are like collection of web pages. So like in the last analogy, we understood that like uh, things which are available on the web are the collection of web applications. World Wide Web is a collection of web applications. Again, web application is a collection of web pages. So, like a couple of terms which are involved here: web applications, web pages, World Wide Web, and web browser. Suppose so, like Chrome is a web browser. It is used to access everything which is available on the web. Facebook is a web application or website. It is a collection of different web pages. So, website and web application now, like these two are again the terms which are often used interchangeably, but are the same? Well, no. There is again a difference between these two terms. Website contains static content which is publicly accessible to all the visitors. On the other hand, a web application has dynamic content and it is designed to involve interaction with the end users. The website provides visual and text content which the user can only view or read. It's just like available for consumption, just visually reading or like you can say. But in case of web application, users not only read information, get information from the pages, but they can also manipulate the data involved. So, like static content, dynamic content, like to just get more insight regarding this, we need to understand, we can provide, get a brief overview about the Web 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0. So, during the initial days of the web, everything which was available on the internet was just static content. The users can only access and not have any other action available for them. So, like it's just you are reading some blog post, you are reading some information from the Wikipedia page. It's just consumption of data. You are not providing any feedback, or you are not doing anything. So in the late 2000s, with evolvement of the web, they started new things on the internet. Now the end users were not just consuming the data, but were also able to perform some actions. They were able to interact or provide feedback with what was available on the internet. They were able to interact with the people on the internet. So this is the time when these social media applications like Facebook and Twitter and all were created. So in Web 2.0, in this phase of the web, it was mainly focused on establishing the connection, providing the users the ability to do more than just consumption of the information on the web. Well, now we are in the phase of Web 3.0, where users are not just able to perform basic actions, but the whole experience of the user on the web is going to change. Artificial intelligence, blockchain, augmented reality, machine learning are the trending technologies which will shape the next phase of the web. So, web development is basically the work involved in developing a website for the internet, for the World Wide Web. So, let us understand like what happens, how is the web working basically. So, we can take an example of whenever we are making a Google search. Suppose we want to watch a show on the Netflix. So we go to Chrome and like we make a Google search. What is the thing which goes behind for just a simple Google search? So we try to open a Google Chrome browser, we type in the URL, we open Netflix. So it takes some time to load. Then we get the title and like we get the content on Netflix. So like Breaking Bad is like one of the series on Netflix. So suppose like you are watching Netflix and like you type in the URL and you get the content available on the browser. You can view it on the browser. So what is going behind rendering the content on the browser? Rendering in the sense showing something on the browser. Is it just like we have already the information available? Or how is the web browser showing something when we are typing? We are providing some input. So suppose we are typing in netflix.com. It is called an URL, uniform resource locator. So everything which is available on the every place on the earth has a unique location like latitude and longitude. In the same way, everything which is available on the web can be uniquely located using their address. So addresses on the earth consists of latitude and longitude. In the same way, addresses on the web consists of IP addresses. So machines understand these IP addresses, but for making it human readable, we have created this uniform resource locator URLs. So we type in netflix.com in the search browser. Then how does the machine understand like which what are we referring to? Because like as I just mentioned, like machines don't understand this URLs. They have their own form of addresses, form of addresses referring to addresses. So we have something which is known as DNS server. You can think of it as a phone book directory. So for every name or contact, you have a designated phone number. In the same way, this DNS server contains all the IP addresses for valid URLs. So suppose you can see google.com, we have the IP address 172.217.17.100. So this is something which is not human interactable, right? So we have the uniform URL as google.com, but this DNS server, what it does is searches in the phone book directory kind of thing and maps it to the IP address. So if I now open the browser and I type in the IP address which just saw, you can see it opens google.com. So what is going on is like, so the process of opening the google.com can also be performed by like just typing in the IP address. So DNS server takes in the URL and converts it into the IP address. Then it provides us the website which we want. Then this IP address. So like we got the address, we got the latitude and longitude. Now we go to that address and we find out what's available there. In the same way, this DNS server finds out the address of the web page or the web application. Then that web application contains some files or some information which the developers have already created to be shown to the customers when they visit. So suppose like when someone visits to a museum, you have already everything set up there. So it's just like the customers go there and visit, see whatever is available in the museum. In the same way, whenever you're making a request to the web server, you are the developers have already stored some files or some information, and you get back that information when you make an API, when you make a request. So the web servers like AWS and Azure, so you make an request and you get back something. You get back HTML, you get back CSS files, you get back JavaScript files. So like these are already created and are stored in some web servers. So like in the museum, some artist has created something and has stored it already. So when the customer visits the museum, they get it in the same way. Like these files are being returned from the web servers. It can also contain some image, some files, anything. So like these are returned, and like these are interpreted by these are like received by the web browser, and they are together combined to form what you are seeing on the screen. It's not like whatever you are seeing on the screen is exactly the thing which is retrieved when from the web browser. So suppose if I like open google.com and like I need to type in something, I just don't get everything which is like mm, the thing which you are seeing on the screen. I get individual different files like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. We get different images files and other files if are available. We get the videos, we get the PNGs, MP4 files like for videos. For sounds, we get different sounds if there is anything available on the website. All these are combined and like they're interpreted by the web browser, and like they are found, and whatever you are seeing on the screen is a combination of what are the things which are which we get back from the web server. So the first branch which you see is like the request, and the response is the like things which you are getting back from the web server. So whenever you are typing in something in the web browser, you're making a request and you get back the response, and based on the response you are seeing something on the screen. So this is how the web works basically. Thank you.